Hey, good morning, everybody. It is Monday again. I hope everybody had a blessed weekend. You got a little bit of a recharge from, gathering with the brethren. Um, it is currently 64 degrees, going to be a high of around 70. Um, the in the air, it's set up for thunderstorms throughout the morning and afternoon. Um, Sunrise is at 5:55 and sunset is at 7:47. So we've lost a few minutes between today and Friday. Um, the seasons change. Seasons change, um, and I'm excited for what the next season, both literally and spiritually, that God has for us, for me, for my family. And in that, we ask God for things and we ask God to show us things, and um, sometimes He doesn't. We ask God for knowledge and understanding of things, and sometimes He doesn't give it, even though He knows everything and He's everywhere. And there's this mystery um, of how God and His knowledge is given and revealed to us, and we just can't have it. Um, in Job 5:9. Check this out. We're gonna go down a I don't want to say rabbit hole, but we're gonna look at some things. So in Job chapter 5, Eliphaz, he's given this soliloquy to Job about how innocent prosper, and he says about God. I said verse 8. As for me, I would seek God, and to God I would commit my cause, who does great things and unsearchable, marvelous things without number. Okay, so God does great things, unsearchable things, and without number. Right? We cannot just search for the things of God. Right? So we like I said, I ask God to show me. And or you ever wonder, like, man, Lord, why didn't I see that coming? Like, I should have been able to see that coming, and we can't. Some things we can't see coming, and we're gonna find out why. But let's keep going here. In Job 11, Zophar, um, he's kind of going in on Job and basically saying that he deserves worse. Okay, and he says in chapter 11, verse 7, can you find out the deep things of God? Right? He asks him, can you find out the deep things of God? Can you find out the limit of the Almighty? So he's basically telling Job, because he's a sinner, all these things are happening to him, and guess what? You can't tell when it's gonna end. You can't, right? And we do ultimately deserve worse, because of our sin, God had to come in the form of Jesus Christ and die, the perfect sacrifice, the perfect atonement, the atonement for the sin of all time, right? And that's our sin. That's our sin. So yeah, we deserve worse. Okay? Yeah, we deserve worse. And no, we can't find the deep, we cannot find out the deep things of God. And we don't always understand why. But guess what? It could always be worse. It could. And then in chapter 33, verse 13, Elihu, who I like this guy. He's a young guy, and he's listening to these dudes go back and forth, and he finally like goes in on him. And in chapter 33 and verse 13, he says, why do you contend against him, saying he will answer none of man's words? Right? So they're all like, it's happening because of this, it's happening because of that. Job gets to the point where he's like, I'm not even going to ask God, right? And he's like, so why do you contend against him, saying he will answer none of man's words? So just because he's not revealing things, it doesn't mean we should submit ourselves to him, right? Just because it seems like we can't find him, it doesn't mean that we should not continue to pray for him, seek him in the scriptures, ask him for the knowledge that we need, ask him to reveal certain things, ask him to reveal himself. We should still be searching for him, right? We should still be searching for him. And then in 37 of Job, chapter 37, verse 23, it says that the Almighty, we cannot find him. He is great in power, justice, and abundant righteousness he will not violate. So, if he's holding back, right? If he's holding back, it's not because of injustice, it's because of justice. He's abundant in power, right? He's abundant in power and abundant in righteousness. Okay, he is the Almighty. And so if he hasn't revealed something, it might not be about you, right? Though we think it's about us, but maybe it's not, right? Because why? It says he will not violate. He will not violate justice and abundant righteousness, which he has, right? He has. And so, in our confined by the flesh, spiritual self, many times is very difficult when we're going through trials to understand that he is with us. And sometimes he's hard to find, man. Sometimes he's hard to find. Sometimes it's difficult for us to get the knowledge we need. Sometimes it's difficult for us to have the understanding of God. And there are reasons for us being kind of left out there, right? Sometimes we feel like we're left alone or left out there, but we're not. He's with us. And the reason why we feel that way is because we think it's unfair. We think it's unjust. We think it's not righteous. But he is, and he won't violate that righteousness. Okay, he won't. Now, and I'm running out of time, and maybe I should leave it there, but I do want to point real quick. Ecclesiastes 3:11, he says, he made everything beautiful in its time. In its time. See, the preacher, he's searching for God, essentially, in the things that he's doing, really. And the things that he's seeing and the things he's observing, and he's trying these things, all kinds of things. You'll have to read Ecclesiastes for yourself. But it says in chapter 3 and verse 11, he has made everything beautiful in its time. Also, he has put eternity into man's heart, yet so that he cannot find out what God has done from the beginning to the end. We can't figure out God's plan, right? He needs to reveal it to us. We try, and we have this longing to know what it is, right? We want to see the end. We want to know the plan, right? But what we need to do is just stick in there with faith. We need to just believe that he does things righteously and he does things justly. And when we're stuck in these things, we got to try to work our way out of this constrained or finite spiritual self, out of the flesh, and open our hearts and our minds spiritually and trust that God has a plan for us.